We will have Konstantin with us, who will speak about new rules for public speaking. Konstantin is an internationally recognized advisor for strategic communications and speech writing. He's helping leaders all over the world from different sectors to master the skill of public speaking. Over the years, he has developed his communication skills training methodology based on his broad international professional background and his personal experiences with such world-renowned leaders as Shimon Peres, Kofi Annan, Tony Blair, Elon Musk, and others. Currently, Konstantin is holding the position of Director of Russian branch of Arizona State University Leadership Training Program. Konstantin has an amazing profile, and we have a great opportunity to have him with us today. So, Konstantin, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my masterclass on rediscovering and redesigning public speaking. So clearly, the world has changed, and so must the way we communicate. And when this whole thing with pandemic began, a lot of leaders worldwide all of a sudden found themselves in a completely new and challenging communication, virtual communication reality. And all of a sudden, it became so much harder to connect to your audience emotionally and get your ideas across, just using the front camera. So what should leaders do in such situations? It's so frustrating for any leader when you feel that you are not seen and heard and understood by others the way you want to. You feel that like you are hitting a glass ceiling that is separating you from the next level in your career of business development or social impact. And why does this happen? So leaders today, many leaders fail to engage their audiences in a meaningful communication process because they still rely on public speaking tips, techniques, practices, and tools that became obsolete, that no longer work in today's highly competitive business and political environments that became so much digitalized. So we communicate, we speak, we learn, we teach, we educate, we lead people online. And this is a whole new reality that we need to adapt to. And those who fail to adapt, unfortunately, will be left behind. So in this context, we absolutely need to learn this skill anew from scratch, to rediscover it, to redesign the way we communicate, the way we speak, the way we lead online. So let's dive right in. So what exactly has changed? Well, despite the fact that there was a lockdown, that we are all online today, the pace of life itself, the pace of changes has changed. And we are overwhelmed with onslaught of information, messages, speakers, webinars, online events, Zoom calls, Zoom conferences. There's so much noise and clutter. And we are so overwhelmed with so much information that we're basically scrolling down our smartphones and we are basically not getting anything. So it became so much harder for speakers and leaders today to get through this clutter and noise, to connect to the hearts and minds of your audiences, of your listeners. So, and in this situation, every speaker today is facing three major challenges. So challenge number one, there's so many speakers today, so many, and they're all online. And pretty much they all look and sound the same. So as a speaker, your challenge is to look and sound different from the rest of the speakers online. So how do you do that? What sets you apart from the rest of speakers and leaders? What is so unique and special about you, about the way you communicate, that you will divide in your audience's minds all the speakers into two categories, you and everybody else? So this is the first challenge. And the second challenge is your content. Well, the funniest thing is that the more speakers we hear and see online, the more similar their content seems to be. And people don't need more information. We can get access to any information we want instantly. What people want today from leaders and speakers is not more information, but a clear, compelling message. A message is not more information. Message is what gives meaning to facts and numbers, statistics. A message is something that changes your perception of things, that changes your attitude, that motivates, inspires, moves to action. This is what message is all about. So I tell my clients, and well, I prep leaders for public speaking and interviews, I always tell them that if you have a message, you're not a loser, but a headliner. So this is my punchline when I work with my clients. So, and the third challenge is attention span. The more we are overwhelmed with onslaught of information, so the shorter our attention span gets. And the younger the people are, the shorter their attention span is. So how long can you hold your audience interest for? Well, let's say even before pandemic, the most common format of public speaking was a panel discussion. And on a panel discussion, you have a moderator and 4 other speakers with you. And you have about 40 minutes for panel discussion. So how much time would you actually have to get your message across? Well, in fact, if you think about it, just 30 to 60 seconds. So it's like in that movie. Still in 30 seconds, but in our case, say it in 60 seconds. So that's why you cannot be long-winded today. And if you think about the virtual communication reality, if you think about online public speaking, you cannot afford being long-winded. You have to get to the point quickly. You have to engage your audience immediately. You have to be punchy and graphic in your language, in your conversation. You have to use sound bites and concise sentences to cut through the clutter and noise and immediately connect to the hearts and minds of your audience. So if you think about it, it's a whole new way to redesign your thought process, the way you articulate your ideas, the way you frame your ideas, and the way you actually communicate your ideas. And this is something that leaders all over the world today are simply not used to because the speech patterns are so deeply seated in the ways our minds have been shaped by our previous experiences. So it's a hard work, in fact. So I have designed my public speaking training methodology to meet these 3 challenges, to help leaders globally to cope with these 3 challenges. Well, I've developed these methodology through my practical experience working as an international consultant and advisor for strategic communications and speech writing, but also through my personal experiences and encounters with some of the greatest leaders in the world, like Shimon Peres, and I was privileged to work on his team. People like Elon Musk, well, I met him personally. Kofi Annan, also I had a personal encounter with him. So, and I've learned from these people the way they articulate their ideas, the way they communicate. And from all of this, I actually created my methodology. And I focus on 3 things. Well, I call it 3 things: who, what, and how. So first we focus on who you are as a person, as a leader. So what is so special about it? What do you stand for? What are your values? What is your idea that you passionately believe in? And then the second pillar is your content. So I help leaders craft their messages clearly, briefly, concisely, so that they can say off the top of their mind, they're always prepared. And the third point is mastery. So basically, as I said, today the speaker's talent is not to be able to speak for hours and hours and hours, not at all. Today, the speaker's talent is encapsulated in 3 words: clarity, brevity, and impact. So in this sense, I don't actually care how eloquent you are, but when let's say I listen to you as a speaker, I want to understand within 30 seconds, do you understand my problem? Second, do you have a solution to my problem? And third, how will my success or my life will look like after I follow your message, your ideas? So if I don't get what you're trying to communicate within 30 seconds, I'm zoning out. And so is everyone in your audience. So as you see, so this is an approach that might be very different from what we are used to. And when I work with my clients individually or with groups, the first thing I say is that the old paradigm of public speaking, the, so to speak, classical rhetoric is dead. So when I mean dead, I mean dead. So I have a presentation. I hope you'll get it after. But just to show you, just 1 second. This is what we've covered. So the major challenges. So I want this idea to stick, in your mind. Classical rhetoric is dead, because, and it's funny that people are still relying on these ancient Greek, antique, long-winded, eloquency-based approach. When speakers try to speak beautifully, they think of how to convince, how to persuade, but mostly about how they look on the stage, how they move their hand, how they stand. This time is gone. And this old paradigm is gone. So today, we don't live in ancient Greek anymore. So we live in a whole new reality. So this is the old paradigm. So what I suggest we should be doing, we should actually be shifting our approaches to communication to a new paradigm. And what I mean by that is that public speaking today mostly is online through virtual communication platforms. And today, public speaking is new television. And if you think about it, television in the 20th century changed communication rules and laws. And today, when we live in the world of social media, when we live in the world of online communication, so today, this is the new television. And basically, whatever we're doing as a speakers, whether we are a lawyer presenting our case to a jury, or whether we are a business person presenting our business case or our innovation. So the rules of new television apply to us in every communication context. So just to give you a few examples. So we should not think that we are great orators of the past, using the laws of speech composition, making a bright introduction, then going to the main part, then going to conclusions, and then moving to call to action. It's funny that a lot of speakers today, they start by 5 minutes or 7 minutes long introduction of themselves, how great they are, how great their business is, and then they move to the main part, and then they move to the conclusions. No, this is not how it is working today. Today, people want conclusions right away. And if I'm impressed with the conclusions, then I might want you to elaborate on these conclusions a little bit more. But again, don't go into too much detail. I don't have much time for that. So people just don't have time for these classical rhetoric. They want, within 7 seconds, they want to get the point. get to your point. So what's your point? And in this sense today, we are all broadcasters. We are all broadcasters. We're transmitting our own programs. We should think ourselves as the owners of our own media channel. And we have our audience. And we inform, educate, motivate, inspire, entertain our audiences. We fight for the ratings from our audiences. And if we reshape our mindset and our attitude that we are not speakers, we are broadcasters. And how exciting is our content? How valuable is our content? Is our content helping our audience or not? So these are the questions that actually we're discussing with my clients when we work one-on-one or when I do my seminars. So 7 seconds rule, that means that within 7 seconds, you have already made your audience make up their minds if they want to listen to you or not, whether they're interested or not. So 7 seconds. So think about it. That means that long-winded people will be extinct like dinosaurs. You have to really be really punchy and say some key phrase or key word in a very concise and clear way that it will make people raise their eyebrows. So within 7 seconds, people should either smile or laugh or lean forward. Something. When I work with my clients, for example, I first ask them to give me their video recordings of their public speaking. And I turn the sound off and I watch and I try to feel if whether I'm compelled to turn the sound on, I'm not interested. So if I see that the person, well, with the sound off, is frozen, lip tight, not moving, no facial expression, I'm not interested. I would scroll down. So in the same way, your audience responds to you when you're online. And don't forget that when you speak online, you are upfront and close. So your eyes, your face, your emotions communicate much more than your words. And second point on the new rules of new television tell us that so your audience, your listeners, so they're not just actually listening, they're watching you. So it's visual communication, not just audio. And that means that people want you alive and not dead, not frozen, not as I said, lip tight. So you have to be really alive, moving, responding to, reacting, sharing your emotions. So this is a whole new set of skills that we need to learn if we want to be great communicators in this new reality. And the last, but not the least, and of course you understand we're just scratching the surface right now. So today we don't give speeches anymore. We pitch. We pitch. What I mean is we sell our ideas. We pitch our ideas. We don't talk about them anymore. Just look at news channels. They pitch the news. They try to convince you. They sell you a certain agenda. They want to make you look at things from a certain perspective. And in fact, if you think about business presentation as a pitch, then the main question that the audience will have, like, what's in it for me? So why should I be interested? So what I want to show you by this presentation is that this is a whole new communicative reality. People perceive information not the way they used to before. And we have to redesign our thought processes and our speech processes. And we have to relearn how to articulate our ideas, how to craft our core messages, and how to deliver this message with clarity, brevity, and impact. And well, I'm just opening the door today to this reality, and I just just showing the direction to go. And in fact, I can be your guide in this process because, as I said, this is what I do. I prep leaders for important public speaking events, for important interviews. And in fact, this is not a simple work because, as you understand, so in this methodology that I mentioned, there are three things. You have to really dig deeply into yourself, into your personality, into your values, because what you are communicates much more powerfully than what you say. Then we work on your content, and we really work on it to make it unique, profound, and impactful. And we boil it down to specific core messages that you will be fire away at any time, in any situation, in any circumstance. And the third, yes, you understand that that's a lot of work actually to work on your communication skill. And I learned that from Shimon Peres, the 9th president of Israel. He was really old school. He didn't use speech writers. He was working on his speeches himself, sometimes for 3 weeks. He would work on one important speech for 3 weeks, really making sure that every word is clearly articulated, accurate, is in its proper place, and will give the result he wants. And this is what I've learned from him, and this is what I'm sharing with people today. And as a closing remark, I want to say that to me, leadership is all about communication. So we are as effective as leaders as we are as communicators. So, and if we want to make a difference in this world, if we want to make an impact, a positive impact, then we better start learning the new tools and new ways to communicate. And I'll be very happy to help you with that. And so here's my contact information. You can find me on Facebook or on Instagram, or contact me through email. This is my website. So I'm all yours, my friends. So believe me. So I really, I'm so sure that this one skill will make a huge difference in your life and in your work. Well, one good presentation, one good speech can change everything in your life, in your career, and in the world around. So contact me at any time. So I'm really more than happy to help.
Thank you so much, Konstantin. That was really impressive, amazing speech, or pitch, probably. So many insights. It was really great. Thank you so much. Everyone is really happy to have you here today with us. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. And well, I'm also a JC, and there's no such thing as a formal JC.
Yes, that's true. We are all sharing the same values. So that's really impressive. Your background and what you are able to give to everyone. Thank you very much for this great opportunity and for sharing your insights with us.